Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. And to my Norwegian, or international audience that resides in Norway, I get to say the following: Gratulerer med dagen, or happy birthday, or the 17th of May, happy 17th of May. Similar to us Americans who have happy 4th of July, because today it is the Constitution Day in Norway. We're in 17th of May, 1814. A constitution declared Norway an independent kingdom, and this was an attempt to avoid being ceded to Sweden after Denmark-Norway's devastating defeat in the Napoleonic Wars. So, in celebrating the day, we have this monster game in the Salem. It's one of my favorite cruisers in the game. I don't know if I would say it's the number one. It's definitely in the top 3. I think right now that is between Salem, Minotaur, and Des Moines. And there are things you can do in Salem that you just can't do in Des Moines, while alternatively there are things you can do in Des Moines that you can't quite do in Salem. But in terms of a more aggressive play style, and getting away with more things, Salem is the cruiser for that job between the Des Moines and Salem because of the super heal, the specialized repair party that you get. Meaning that you can take a beating and you can heal back from the beating, or if you take a lot of beating in Des Moines, it's likely that you might die before you get your next heal off. So, I want to talk a little bit more about the decision-making process. I was wondering about going towards C, but then I decided, you know what, let's go ahead and up here in the middle, and I'm going to use the island in F6 to station up alongside of. And I want to support the Gearing. Gearing's going for the cap, so I should just go ahead and get in here and support him. Now, we are top tier, which does weigh heavily in favor of Salem with these 203 millimeter guns. Now, we have the reload in slot 6, so you can see right now reload time is about 4.8 seconds. And by the time we get later on in the battle, we're gonna shave almost 2 seconds off. That's right, folks. A 3-second reload, I think, is what it is. Lands up being here in the Salem. Now, that's not the fastest you can get the reload time down on the Salem. If you have all the things like I have in this battle in terms of the commander build, I have a game I still need to upload where I had a, I think it was a 1.9 or it was a 2-second reload time. But that was because of arms race with the reload buffs. But anyhow, back to this particular battle. So Edinburgh takes out enemy Fletcher, and we're kind of just moving up along here. We're being able to utilize the smoke screen. We were getting detected from the destroyer in Charlie earlier, so that's why we were detected, but now we're not. And we get to use this nice long American smokescreen time. So my goal is to punish whatever decides to push towards B or towards A. Now, there are a couple really good things that are happening here. The enemy team has decided to be heavily focused on the A-B side, and they have not decided to focus heavy on the C side. So that's going to allow me to get away with a lot in this battle that normally you wouldn't, because you'd still have a lot of battleships and stuff off, maybe on the 7, 8, 9 line. But we don't have that threat. At least that does be one paying attention to us between the Massachusetts and the Moskva. So what does this mean? This means that, well, one, a Shimakaze just appeared, and pretty sure that he's probably dumped torpedoes. And he's just within our 8.5 kilometer radar range. So we're gonna focus this Shimakaze down, or try to give as much off. Now, I'm gonna lose him here because he's reversing away from my 8.5 kilometer radar. So I make the decision, I'm gonna nose up and I'm gonna ram strategically Nazi the island in front of me, and move out of smoke. Now, it's possible if that friendly CV hadn't flown over the Shimakaze, I may have just died there. So, thank you, spotting. Which most time we don't like. So we're gonna keep focusing. I'm about to lose the Shimakaze because of the island. The Shimakaze is playing smart. He's just reversing because he knows my radar range. So I don't think he thought I was quite as close as I was when he smoked up. Now we have the Cleveland pushing up, and we're gonna switch to the armor piercing. We do have Halsey on our commander, and so I'm just checking behind me, and I'm trying to punch through underneath the bow, main armament of the Cleveland here, and trying to get to his citadel. But he's deciding to reverse, and the Cleveland versus a Salem Balin engagement is just never going to work. Cleveland is always going to lose, just like pretty much always, unless you do something completely stupid. But because of our team really handling the opposite flank well, we're losing a flank, but things are working really well in our favor here. And you can actually be just barely dark behind this island if you reverse far enough back here. We need to get a little bit more of this ridge here in between us and the enemy ships, but I think there's a Shimakaze that's still out and about. Now the North Carolina, who we were firing upon earlier, has decided to make an entrance. Now one of the things I noticed about him is that I'm pretty sure with the amount of health he has, 53,000 I think it was, that he is probably grinding North Carolina. He doesn't have the hull B, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm thinking he's a newer player, grinding up the line, and probably not too familiar with North Carolina. Granted, it is, in my opinion, a much better improvement over Colorado. So I'm going to keep farming this, the Kansas. This is a really ideal situation for Salem, Des Moines. To just be farming these battleships as they push up is really great. But now, as we take a citadel there from the Delaware, I need to get nose in, angled in towards this North Carolina, because I can completely be slapped. Now I have propulsion on the 4th slot, so it kind of helps us to be able to move here quickly. And because he's moving around the island, means I can get cheeky and get a big 8,000 salvo off. And you're going to see 8,000, 5,000. We're going to purposely angle our belt. We wanted him to fire on our belt just like he did, so we baited him into that. And this close, we're actually even able to get citadels into underneath the turrets, but he's angled in too much. And now our HE overmatches his bow. So even though he's angled in, probably wants to go for the ram, I just simply overmatch his bow, and we'll polish him off here and get the kill. And I did call for help just to make sure that we were going to be okay, because I'm really in a good situation. We're just over 7 minutes into the game, and I have over 143,000 damage already, as the Massachusetts and Mossford both die. By the Bismarck, who gets a double strike, so hats off to him. And we pick off the Cleveland because he decided it was now time to run away out behind the island, versus where he was perfectly safe if he stayed behind the island. So now we have some planes. They're Delaware's planes. So I probably could have went ahead and used the defensive AA fire consumable here. I don't know why I didn't. So let's see what he does. Not too much. So now we're going to focus the Kansas, Tier 8 American battleship. And I've asked for air support, and I thought it was a CV who said yes. Because in this situation, I'm pretty aggro in the middle, and just wanting some fighter coverage. Since I think the Lexington might focus me, but for us, we have some good things going on because it's a Tier 8 CV. It's not a Tier 10 CV or a Super CV. So this works out pretty well for us here. Now we're going to switch to the armor piercing. Whenever you have broadside targets, even if it's a battleship, you should utilize the AP, because we're going to get some decent salvos. That was a 1600. We're trying to get aimed a little bit better here, and 9,900 salvo. So you can get some big salvos, and with how fast the reload time is, right now we are, looks like about 3.9, I think, when I'm looking at the reload timer. 3.8, 3.9. Now, I originally thought that Ragnar is actually the Shimakaze firing at me, then I realized, wait, he's firing like really fast, and it is indeed the Ragnar who have not engaged yet. I have to be conscious, Shimakaze might be dumping torpedoes behind the island, so I don't want to just reverse out or let the Ragnar bully me back. And for him, it's going to suck because a lot of the work that he's just done, I just simply get to pop my specialized repair team and heal pretty much all the damage he's given me as we pick up the high caliber and Confederate. And with Halsey, means we get a buff to reload time. So now our guns are reloading, it looks like about every 3.2 seconds. I have to pay attention. And we're going to accelerate back forward. and we're going to switch back to the armor piercing. And I'm being very slow to push out here because I want to keep the midsection of my ship. I want to protect the citadel vulnerability of my ship. So we're going to be focusing the Delaware again, another nice big 8,000k salvo. So this is just great. We're already over 210,000 damage, but then the submarine, and there's more planes coming in from the Delaware. So I thought I got my depth charges set well here. We'll see. And then we start reversing immediately. So we're able to avoid those torpedoes because we're playing around the island. Salem really favors playing around the island. Our depth charges go off and nothing. So I have no idea how we completely missed that sub. The gearing is OP. I really forgot to compliment him because there's so much happening in this game. So hats off to you, Mr. Gearing, for sharing your smoke screen multiple times. So now I can move up here without fear of being detected unless something comes within my smoke fire penalty range. And I can even get all 9 guns on the Delaware here. So we're going to inch up a little bit forward more. He's still looking at us, so I believe that he's probably going to take a blind fire at us. I probably would if I was him. But we have the favor of the island right in front of us, and that messes with shells trajectories often a lot. And it goes above us, so no threat there, as we pick up our 4th kill. So now, just over 11 minutes into the battle, we have 245,000 damage, and we are hungry for more. The Shimakaze player is very frustrated about a Russian CV that can go super duper fast, and because they do. So he's not going to have any luck in killing our CV player. So he's just going to wonder what is life about. So I am very thirsty for a Kraken Unleashed. Unfortunately, with the time remaining, in terms of the points, it's 963 points, and we're ticking up 2 of 3 caps. So it's not likely. Lexington's all the way up above the island in B2. Maybe we get some AA firing here. And we didn't use our defensive AA fire. I just realized that. I thought I was using it. There was just so much happening in that battle. Like, it's such a quick, fast-paced battle. Yeah, so that was unfortunate. I probably could have gotten some more plane damage or plane kills. So I think that was actually a 3 point... Well, I don't know if we had to heal, but 3.1, 3.2 second reload time. So we have Confederates, Dreadnought, and the High Caliber, and with Halsey, that's just really good stuff in activating his hit. Was it? I don't remember the name of the talent. It's his talent for Confederate, means fast reload time. So 4 kills, 9 set on fires. We even had a couple secondary hits there. Being right there in the action. On this map, I often like really playing Salem around mid when possible. Sometimes if there's a lot of CVs or higher tiered CVs, not as likely to take it unless I'm a div and a teammate will drop some smoke. But we do get 2,587 base experience in crushing the enemy team. We took 74,000 damage and almost 1 million potential damage. Most of our damage you can see was done to the Delaware and North Carolina. And the Kansas, I mean, once you get in that North Carolina, he gets in a close engagement with us with these 2 and 3 millimeter guns. And if you know how to use the ship well, like angling in, baiting him to shoot our side. So we just took that off on the belt and didn't really take any damage from his 4 and 6 millimeter guns. And just punishing him through the bow with our high explosive. Just knowing the strengths and weaknesses of your ships. And Salem has a lot of strengths overall, but the hydroacoustic search, definitely not a thing. Because you can take hydro, it's radar. But I opt to take radar pretty much most of the time. Or the Shimakaze probably would have killed us, possibly, if our CV hadn't detected him. So quite the different turnout there by accidentally for him. Kind of, he's made me move it up a little bit too far, but I mean, he played for it. High risk, high reward type of play. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, as I'm going to be hanging out with friends later and celebrating the 17th of May, our Constitution Day here in Norway. And I hope you do as well. I know I have a small Norwegian audience comprising, I think, mostly Norwegians and a couple internationals. So enjoy the day. And if you're elsewhere in the world, I hope you have a fantastic day. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. Really appreciate it, as we're on our way to 1,400 subscribers. And when we hit 1,400 subscribers, I will do a live stream, and it might happen this weekend. So I'll have to see. So until next time, take care.